It's no secret that I've been a fan of Option-O's grinders for some time, and the starting point for that fandom was the GOAT, the P64, which arrived on the scene as 64mm burrs were gaining a lot of steam on the home market, but brought in some additional features like a wide range of RPM adjustments, a whisper-quiet brushless motor, and a sturdy build paired with a minimalist design. And if you didn't notice that the grinder I just showed you was actually the P80, that's kind of the point. On this go-around, it's equipped with larger, blind, in-house design 80mm burrs, a built-in auger, stepped RPM adjustments, and that's just on the outside. So in this video, we're going to dive into what's new, what's old, and what's gold on a Lagom P80. But first, a quick word from this video's sponsor. When it comes to brewing the best coffee, quality ingredients matter. And purely by the numbers, water makes up to 98% of what's in your cup, and it's absolutely vital to the long-term reliability of your equipment. So after months of testing and trials, I've landed on third-wave water formulas for all of my coffee preparation. Not only is it designed to not produce scale or cause corrosion, but there's an option for every palate. Third-wave water offers a wide variety of mineral blends specifically designed to get the most out of your favorite roast level or brew type. So take control of arguably one of the most important variables when brewing quality coffee today, and head over to thirdwavewater.com/Sprometheus or use code Sprometheus at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase. Thanks to Third Wave Water for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into it. As I've already pointed out, or I guess at the very least alluded to, spotting the differences between the P64 and the P80 are difficult if not impossible. So let's quickly start with a once-over. Up at the top, of course, you've got the funnel that acts as the grind adjustment knob, as well as where your beans go in, as they slip in over this anti-popcorning lid and into the grinding chamber. Getting into the chamber has also changed from the days of my P64, where it was all threaded and tool-free, to now where the shroud is lifted, turned, and slipped off, revealing the two bolts that allow you to pull the entire upper burr assembly out. Inside, the burrs themselves, as I mentioned, are now blind and attached with magnets and small posts that can be removed, so standard burrs can be placed using the bolt eyes underneath. So it does appear that the P80 is compatible with a lot of other burr options, both blind and not blind, though I do have to say I'm not super motivated to swap these out, as I'm just a few months deep. But as you can see from the internals, everything is beautifully machined steel and anodized aluminum, and fits together snugly without much, if any, play in the areas that matter. And also, there is a new built-in auger that's designed to, as they say, gently feed the beans into the burrs, which are themselves designed with an outer ring that's supposed to act as a pre-breaker before the beans are pulled outwards into the burr blades for grinding. As we move down the grinder, we reach the dosing chute, which, much like many other recent Option-O grinders, acts as a knocker to clear any remaining stubborn grinds. And surprisingly, it does result in low-ish, if not zero retention, depending on the atmospheric conditions like humidity and how fine you're grinding. The grinds themselves, which are fluffy and clump-free, fall into the matching dosing cup, or you can slip a portafilter in place with the also included matching grinds funnel. And just before we reach the base, you'll see now that there are two buttons on the body. The bottom button is just your standard on-off. The top button is again an on-off button, but also has an auto or on-demand purge with a double press and an auto shut-off function. On the other side of the grinder is a small RPM knob, but unlike the P64, where you essentially played the guessing game between the lowest and highest speed, the P80s are stepped, letting you choose from 300 to 1700 RPM in 2 to 300 RPM increments. And don't worry, we're going to get much deeper and much more in-depth on that feature here in just a second. But lastly, on the topic of RPM, the grinder's motor is a sizable 200 watt increase from the P64 to 500 watts, which is likely needed to move the significantly larger and heavier burrs, but of course remains brushless and maintains its whisper-quiet status. Oftentimes in grinder reviews, I touch on workflow, but at this point, let's be real. A lot of people, if not everybody, already knows the process of how a single dose grinder works. So I want to jump directly into how it performs both outside and inside the cup. So I think the biggest question, or I guess feature, that this grinder has that I was curious about especially now having a particle analyzer, is how the RPM truly affected the grinding, and how it compares to a static speed grinder with different auger speeds, similar to the tests I recently ran with the Zerno Z1. Now, on the next frame, what you're going to see is a big old block of numbers, so let's quickly go over what each column means. As you can see, this chart is split down the middle, with the left side being the slow feed tests, meaning a few beans at a time, and the other being fast, which is just the whole 10-gram dose all at once. The RPM is the speed setting of the burrs, then the median micron size of the tested sample, the ratio is the percentage of the sample that sits within the same grind range, and lastly, the unfortunate acronym STD stands for standard variant, which gives you the value to the uniformity of the sample itself, meaning the smaller the number, the more uniform the sample. So at a glance, we can see there is a bit of a trend, where as the RPMs increase, the median grind size tends to increase even at the same grind setting, as well as a reduction in the ratio and an increase in the standard variant, which essentially means the doses get less and less consistent as the RPMs go up. The most consistent grind comes from obviously the lowest RPM setting, which is something I expected to find based on my previous tests on the P64. But unexpectedly, it is significantly better on the higher feed rate, with a 10% higher ratio and almost an 18-point reduction in standard variant. So of course, if you're like me and want the clearest possible cup for a filter or drip style coffee, a fast feed rate at 300 RPM is your setting. But if you're looking for a point to use for all-around grinding, 900 seems to be kind of an equilibrium, providing a very similar result regardless of your dosing speed. And since I've mentioned it already up against the Zerno Z1, which the full review came out, just a few weeks ago, it does fall a bit short of its pretty impressive results. Using a static RPM of 900 and a slow feed auger, it produced a 92% ratio and a 107.3 standard variant, which gives even more credit to the actual benefits of their auger and pre-breaker system, considering these results are not just all about the burrs or their orientation. Though none of this is to say that the P80 doesn't produce fantastic cups with their new Meissen burrs. Really, this is just sort of splitting hairs when it comes to most users and use cases. And in my experience over the last few months, they create a nice balance of clarity with plenty of body and sweetness. Think something akin to lab sweets. And they produce really consistent extraction yields well above the minimum ideal of 18%. They are proper crowd pleasers for both the nerd and the normie. As I've made clear already, the P80 is a good grinder. From top to bottom, there isn't really a whole lot to complain about, but through day-to-day use, the quirks and downsides make themselves unavoidable. And I think the biggest bummer from a user perspective is when you're all set up to brew and your grinder stalls, stutters, or even worse, jams. And over the last few months, I've had a mix of all three. Granted, they are on low RPMs and relatively fine grind settings, but considering the size of the motor and the fact that I never had this on the P64, does feel like a bit of a small step back. Also, and maybe this is just the last year of using the Zerno speaking, but for a grinder in the same $1,500 price range, I'd expect there to be some nicer and more useful tools than a single Allen key, making the process feel tedious and downright annoying. But the Zerno's tools did make short work of it. But on that same point, removing the burrs is also no walk in the park. There's nothing with the P80 to help you remove them from their magnetic carriers. So once again, I found myself having to use Zerno's tools to get them out, and also one of my own brushes, since it didn't come with one of those either. And finally, at least at the time of recording, 80mm burrs are less prevalent and more expensive, with your more basic uncoated options being around $250 all the way up to the higher end at $700. Though I will say it does seem as though 80mm burrs are on the trend right now, so maybe in just a matter of 6 months or so, they could be the new 64 and have a ton of options. It's hard to say. In the end, if you're in the market for a grinder, I have to say that the Lagom P80 is a great choice, but it's also swimming in a market full of great choices. I've said it before, but the quality of coffee equipment, especially grinders recently, has reached a baseline that's pretty high. Granted, it is a luxury item, it's not inexpensive, and you'd be well within your rights to expect something built from quality materials to exacting standards and have capabilities beyond holding spinning blades. And the P80, I think, meets and in some cases exceeds those expectations. And since Option-O is slowing production of the P64 based on its demand, and it's also a $10 difference between this and the P80, I think in the future it could be X's for the P64. But in the grand scheme, its spirit will live on. The P80 is a great successor. But on that bombshell, I think it's time to start wrapping this one up, and as always, pass the conversation on to you. So what are your thoughts on the Lagom P80? From what you've seen, heard, or maybe even personally experienced, do you think it has what it takes to take over for the P64 and even compete with the likes of the Zerno Z2 or EG1, other 80mm heavy hitters? Drop your answers to those questions and any others you may have in the comment section down below. And as always, I'll see y'all in the last video. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell button for notifications when new videos drop. Check out my Instagram at Sprometheus for more coffee content. Help support the channel by considering becoming a member for exclusive perks. And as always, stay caffeinated. Ponyboy